what you have to do to keep your abs is not the same as what you had to do to get your abs. I was on the phone earlier today with a Grill Up 2 member who will know who he is, we were literally chatting about this very concept, and I actually thought it was like common knowledge, but do you know what? The more I actually think quite deeply into this, most people are going to think that, it's not sustainable to have a six-pack all year round because of what you had to do to physically get there, the calorie deficit, the restricted diet, the mass amount of output, and the steps that had to go into it. But you must understand that what you need to do to get something is not the same as what you do when you need to maintain it. You need to maintain a six-pack when you already had one, bearing in mind. All that really takes is 3 to 5 resistance training sessions per week. You're talking maintenance level calories, which if you've dieted, from dieting down calories to maintenance calories, is going to be at least a jump of, unless you're a pro dieter, like that'll be 500. Realistically, it's going to be more around like 7, 8, maybe even 1,000 calorie difference up to your maintenance. So if you're eating 7, 8, 1,000 calories more a day anyway, let's be honest, you can sustain that. You can maintain that, hence the term maintenance. And in terms of your output, you're going to do a little bit of cardio because you want to keep your heart healthy anyway. This wasn't about just like pure muscle. It was about being an athlete and having a healthy heart. So what does that look like? Honestly, like 60 to 100 minutes per week of cardio. Baseline level, like human level stuff. Like keep your heart ticking over, keep it healthy, minimum 60 minutes, heart rate to 120 to 130 BPM, and 10,000 steps. Like, I'm out walking now, but like I walk in the off season, I walk in the dieting phase, all the same, because at the end of the day, this is where your best ideas come. This is where you get mental clarity, and if you're stressed out your mind, this is where you go to relieve stress. Just walking. Walking is like a conveyor belt for your brain. It will just flush out any toxic thoughts that are running through your mind. So you can sustain that, let's be honest. But the main thing you want to ask me is, what about the off-plan meals? What about the alcohol? What about the drinking? How does that work? Can I do that? And the answer is, in an off-season, of course you can. You can enjoy one off-plan meal per week with the family, and you should do, because the difference is when you're dieting down to get shredded, you don't do that. You don't do that at all. But dieting down to get shredded is not supposed to be sustainable. It's supposed to be bearable. It's supposed to be tolerable. It's supposed to be doable, but it's not supposed to be sustainable, because otherwise you would do it forever. But it's not supposed to be like that. It's supposed to be something you do once, you get in, you get out, and you get the job done. However, when you're in the long gaining phase, that is something that's going to go on for a lot longer. So it needs to be something you can maintain and sustain. When you have the off-plan meal, the rule of thumb is don't eat garbage. Do not go out eating utter garbage, highly processed foods, your McDonald's, your KFCs, like all that sort of stuff. Stay away from that. You got into this life for a better life, to have more respect for yourself. So respect yourself in the food you put in your body. Eat real food. Go out, go to the best steak restaurant you can see. Go out to a nice Italian, get some good honest pasta down here. Go and get some sushi. Go and get foods that would ideally enhance the gaining phase that you're on. Because when you get heavily processed foods, heavily like sugary garbage foods, the problem with that is, try and eat your diet plan the next day. It will repulse you. The idea of getting like 4,000 calories in because you're on a gaining phase and you've been out the night before and eating garbage, it'll repulse you. You won't even be able to get it in and stomach it because it'll be too fibrous, it'll be too plain and bland. You'll just not get all your food in. And then what will happen is your gaining phase will end up short. You'll end up accruing too much body fat too quickly and you'll have to cut it out. And ultimately, we got lean in the first place, so we had longevity in the gaining phase. Don't go and throw that away with off-plan meals when you can absolutely have the off-plan, but eat clean, real foods. When it comes to alcohol, it's not great for the body. Of course it's not, but if you want to have wine with your wife on a Sunday with your dinner, like, you can have the one glass of wine. Everything in moderation when it comes to that. In a dieting phase, no alcohol. Majority of the time, no alcohol. In my view anyway, but I appreciate people like to drink, they like to socialise, whatever, fine. If you must drink, stay away from the beers, stay away from the Guinness, and just stick to singular shots of alcohol or spirits with like low calorie mixer. Because I appreciate you're going to drink, so at least do it like in a smartish way. Don't be like hammering the beers week in, week out. Otherwise, of course, you throw away them abs real quick, really quick, if you start doing that week in, week out. But you know that already. And let's be honest, I think most of you got into this game because you wanted to change your life and you didn't want to be in the pubs all the weekend. You'd rather be up the mountains, you'd rather be doing something like social and fun and keeping hold of the physique that you work so hard for. But the fact that you're going to be training hard, fast and aggressive throughout that gaining phase to accrue more tissue means it's going to be hard to really like get out of condition and get soft. The issue is when people aren't training and they're eating too much, they're getting softer from muscle and they're getting body fat added. So it's just an overall net loss that you don't want to happen. So to keep your abs is not the same as what you had to do to get them. You had to work tooth and nail to get them. You had to live the athlete lifestyle. You had to literally be an autist about your routine. Now in the gaining phase, that's not the case. Your focus is gym floor performance and getting stronger. You need to think, what can I do to always make sure that is moving to accrue as much muscle as possible? So again, don't think you have to starve yourself to keep a six-pack all year round. You don't. Hope you found this video of value. If you did, subscribe to the channel and I'll see you tomorrow.